The world needs cheaper EVs, but Tesla has historically been the only automaker outside China making electric vehicles profitably. The rest are bleeding money, and everyone is trying to cut costs and move faster. Megacasting, or Gigacasting as it's often called, is the latest manufacturing technique promising to do exactly that: make EVs cheaper, lighter, and simpler. Tesla has been credited with pioneering the method.
I think it's basically going to be how all cars are made in the future.
Rivals are already sinking billions and trying to jump on the bandwagon.
If you want to make an efficient electrified car, you need to have more aluminum, you need to have less parts, you need to have less complexity, and you end up in, okay, let's look at on how we can use casting in a better way.
All right. You see it. They underway to get the Teslas and the EVs to get cheaper. Welcome to That's a Bet podcast, where we talk about business, entrepreneurship, and technology. All right, today we're going to cover Tesla and EVs using new technology to make their vehicles in order to make them cheaper for the consumer. We did a video on China's EVs, the BYD company, and how the United States is not allowing China to put those vehicles over here. But guess what? Those vehicles start out around $10,000, $11,000. And so many people in the United States will be able to take advantage of that price point. You know, however, a lot of you guys were saying how, you know, the EVs in China, they catch on fire, saying that the EVs are poorly made, which, you know, I'm not quite sure about how well they're made, but from my reporting and look from other reports that I've seen, they said those vehicles are pretty decent, pretty good. So, but you heard it, Tesla and BYD are pretty much the only companies that are able to make EVs profitably right now. So we're going to take a little bit deeper dive into what type of production innovations that they're going to be using in order to try to make these vehicles cheaper. If you guys rocking with this, let's go ahead and get back into the video.
It's a very logical kind of process step for us in our technology transformation, I would say.
Details on how much each is spending are scant, but the total market for die casting, which includes parts of all sizes, is expected to grow 70% in less than a decade. That's $126 billion by 2032.
I see tons of opportunities going forward, so we can increase the amount of aluminum.
All right, so if you're not familiar with die casting, don't feel bad. It's my first time hearing the word die casting or gigacasting, but the technique is not so unfamiliar. Basically, what they're saying is they're going to pour your car. Yeah, that's right. They're going to pour your car into a cast or into a mold, and it's going to form and harden and shape to where it is basically essentially almost one piece, right? And you know, we've seen that type of thing before, that if you want to call it a technology, but we've seen that technique on different types of buildings and different types of structures. You know, I saw a video on YouTube one time about the ancient pyramids in Egypt, and a lot of people think that they use similar technology to build the pyramids out in Egypt. Instead of having the big old blocks, you know, the big old 100-ton blocks that they have in the pyramids, saying like, how did they move these blocks, you know, from here to here? And a lot of people think they didn't move them. They created a mold and they poured the blocks. They poured them, similar to what Tesla and other EV companies are trying to do right now with gigacasting. So this should be interesting. What do you guys think about gigacasting? Do you want your car to be poured? Does it not matter? And they're saying it's going to save money on EVs. So if they're still safe, I think it's a good thing, because we definitely need to get EVs cheaper.
I reduce the weight of the vehicle, which in the end is CO2 and range for the customer.
Researchers agree megacasting is potentially revolutionary if it works.
I know you guys are watching the video right now, but I had to let you know about a couple books that I'm reading right now. You guys can join me inside of my book club. First two that we're going to start off with is called AI Superpowers, China, Silicon Valley, and the New World Order by Kai-Fu Lee. All right, this is going to talk about all the AI superpowers that's in the world right now and what everybody is fighting for to get AI supremacy. We always like to stay up to date with the technology and make sure that we're making good investments and making sure that we're putting those investments back into our business. So the second book that we're going to read is called Chip War. This is about all the microchips and semiconductors that's in demand in the country and in the world right now, actually. And if you're making an investment in the chip market and the microchip and the semiconductor markets, we want to kind of dive a little bit deeper into what's going on with the microchips and what China and the USA and the rest of the world are doing and what this is all going to lead to. So if you're interested in this and you like rocking with our channel where we talk about business, entrepreneurship, and technology, make sure you click that link and join us in the book club. We're going to start reading this real soon. Don't miss out. Can't wait to see y'all there. Now let's get back to the video.
But there are some serious challenges.
To say this is the future of car production can be, but the realization showed that the problems are more expensive and we should go back to the conventional way. So this is really an open game at the moment.
Megacasting, or as Tesla calls it, gigacasting, is a form of...
I like how they say revolutionary. Casting is not revolutionary. We've been doing casting for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Die casting. It's a common manufacturing technique that can be used to make all sorts of things, including car parts. The process is, fundamentally, simple. You fill a high-pressure mold with a substance, such as molten aluminum, and form a cast. After some cutting and finishing, the part is ready to go. While casting has been used to make smaller parts for a long time, many of the larger parts on a vehicle have historically been made out of stamped steel pieces, typically welded or joined together. But at some point, Tesla started pushing the limits of the casting technique and now uses large gigacasts in the Model Y, Model 3, and the Cybertruck. In the 3 and the Y, large sections of the front and the back of the vehicle are made out of single casts.
Tesla's really the first one to go and have very large, high-pressure die-cast aluminum castings in cars to replace large sections of what are traditionally stamped steel or stamped aluminum.
Look at that. Look at all them robots. All them robot hands making that car. Where are the humans? Where are the people? Where are the jobs at? The jobs are being taken away by the robots. It's all robots in that factory making them car parts. They gigacasting. They using AI. Using technology. It's crazy. Hey, but you know, on the flip side, if the less people they use to make the EVs, the cheaper that they should be able to sell them to us for, because the labor costs go out the window. So another love-hate relationship with technology and AI, you know, how much it's going to do for us, but you know, how much it's going to hinder people. That's why I want to encourage anybody that may be wondering, you know, how are they going to reskill themselves? You know, you might be 40, 50 years old right now, and you know, you've already gone through life. You've already built up an extreme amount of value in the skill set that you have for the market. And your market may be one of the markets that actually goes away with the advent of AI. So, you know, I just want to encourage people that may be having that may have their industry in jeopardy to reskill. Start thinking about reskilling. And, you know, on this channel, we kind of biased because we talk about becoming content creators and working for ourselves. And to me, that's the safest bet. You know, nobody can take your job away from you. Nobody can fire you when you work for yourself. And as far as the creator economy, where, you know, everybody's making content, people are working jobs and they have a side hustle where, you know, they're making content and trying to figure out how to make content a viable career option for themselves. Hey, I feel you. I understand. That's why I think you guys should subscribe to the channel, because we're going to always have a community over here that enforces or talks about working for ourselves, making good investments, delivering skills to the market, obtaining skills that pay the bills, and making sure that we stay ahead of the technology curve when it comes to things like AI taking our jobs and figuring out how to reskill so that we can make a good living in the market. So a little bit of encouragement for you guys.
Structures.
The front and rear portions of the early Model 3 chassis each contained more than 70 parts. The same two portions on the very similar Model Y are now just one part each.
To cast a rear body or front body is lighter, cheaper, better for noise, vibration, and harshness, much easier to manufacture.
Beginning with these big pieces allows Tesla to make tweaks that improve manufacturing efficiency.
We decided the floor should be a part of the car. The battery is the floor.
With that, Tesla says it can build different parts of the car at the same time, instead of piecing things together one by one. The carmaker claims it cut the size of its assembly line by 10%. Casting also provides the opportunity to rethink designs, allowing for a wider variety of shapes than stamped sheet metal. You could add support in places where it would be too difficult to do otherwise.
You can use less material to get the same amount of strength because you can customize the shape of it to be most advantageous for the loads that you're trying to carry.
The material matters too. Gigacasting is typically done with molten aluminum.
What are you EV haters thinking about this? You know, a lot of people on the channel, on some of the videos that we did on EVs, you know, I've really seen a lot of people talk about they didn't like the EVs. They don't want to be forced to go to an EV. Although I did see that hybrid sales are actually up. You know, EV market is down right now, but hybrid market, EV and ICE vehicles are actually up. So, you know, I'll be interested to know what you guys think about Tesla and other EV companies, you know, doing what they need to do to try to make these vehicles cheaper for you. If the vehicles get cheaper, would you guys buy one?
Because EVs already carry such heavy battery packs, reducing weight as much as possible wherever you can is essential. Automakers have been using aluminum even in gas cars to improve fuel efficiency. Ford was able to drop 15% of the F-150's weight just by using an aluminum body instead of steel. But aluminum is more expensive than steel overall. Gigacasting can help close that gap. A Gigacast component would be about 30% cheaper than trying to make the same part or assembly out of stamped aluminum. It would still cost about 50% more than stamped steel, but weight reduction, part reduction, and other advantages might make it worthwhile. Tesla has said that combining its gigacasting process with battery improvements can reduce vehicle weight by about 10%, increase range by 14%, and use 370 fewer parts. CNBC reached out to several automakers. However, most said their plans for megacasting are in the very early stages. Eric Severinsen leads Volvo's electrification strategy. The company doesn't break out exactly how much it is investing in megacasting, but says it is a significant portion of the $1 billion it spent on a plant in Sweden.
Wow. Right now we are investing in Torslanda. That's the first plant out with this. Of course, you know, long term, this is what we will have in all the plants where we are building these generation of vehicles.
Wow.
The potential goes far beyond reducing weight or the number of needed parts. Automakers say gigacasting offers them a chance to change the way cars are made.
In the past, when you had to change your rear floor, you had to go in and change in 100 different tools. And now we need to change in one tool. So one, you have the machine there, one, you have the casting infrastructure. To actually do a change on the rear floor is much easier. And that offers you flexibility for product upgrades. It offers you for flexibility for, you know, improvements of the products during the lifespan of it. So it has a lot of other benefits to it. Of course, it's a big investment to start with, but it is very much infrastructure. Once you have it, you can...
I always see two sides of the coin. So think about this, because I'm good with my hands and I know how to work on cars and things like that. So think about if the car is one piece, right? Just follow me on this. If the vehicle is one piece, or if a lot of the parts and components are made through gigacasting, how would that affect the after market maintenance for EVs? Say, for example, they have to be careful about how they make these parts, because if you have a part that goes bad on the vehicle and it needs to be replaced, you can't just take the bolts off and put on a new part and bolt it back down. If it's all one piece, it's like you have to solder it off and solder it back on, solder the new piece back on. I'm not sure how these vehicles are actually being made, but it just makes me question and wonder if any of the gigacasting parts that they're making, is it just the frame that they're gigacasting, or is it the frame with parts that may need to be taken off later on traditionally? I don't know. You guys know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, right? If anybody's know how to fix cars and work on cars, anything like that, let me know what you think about that.
Really get more flexibility in your products portfolios.
Tesla has said it wants to use gigacasting to completely change the way it makes vehicles. In the very early days of the automotive industry, cars were built one at a time, piece by piece, in a single place. Henry Ford changed all this by adopting the assembly line. This streamlined the process and allowed cars to be made continuously. This is still basically how vehicles are made today. First, sheet metal is stamped into the panels that make up the body. These are welded together. Then the doors get hung on the body. The whole thing goes through the paint shop and gets painted. Then the vehicle goes into final assembly. The body is married to the chassis, or the frame. But at this point, oftentimes the doors might come off and they travel down a separate belt, where window mechanisms, door trim panels, and other things are added. While the doors are off, the interior of the vehicle goes in. All the instrument panels, seats, carpets, everything. This, some say, is really inefficient. Those door openings make it tricky to fit all that equipment into the car. Robotic equipment helps, but it is tough to automate that process.
You still have to have people leaning into the vehicle at sometimes kind of awkward positions with torque wrenches and those things, putting all of this together. The unboxing is really blowing that apart.
So you start with some large gigacastings, attach components onto each of those, paint what is necessary, and then
kind of Lego fashion, everything comes together at the end. And the big advantage of this is that instead of trying to reach into a car, you have people working around something like the size of a table, so you could have 4 people working at the same time, much better access, so there's lower labor content. It also takes up a much smaller footprint because I can get 4 people around this thing versus having to stretch it out.
Tesla has claimed it could reduce factory size by 40% and costs by 50%.
That was dope. That was a dope demonstration right there. I like that. He said put it together like Legos. Man, okay. I'm rocking with that. And from what I can see, I don't know if there would be parts that would need to be taken off later. I don't know. I would have to look at a Haynes manual, if y'all familiar with the Haynes manuals out there, if they still use them. But let me know what you guys think about this. If you're rocking with this and you think Tesla and other EV companies are going to succeed with making them cheaper, hey, you know what? BYD might be doing this. BYD might be doing this already. They might get it down from 11,000 down to 8,000. I don't know. Yeah, I think they make their own batteries too. So I'm just trying to irritate the people that was in the comments on BYD, man. Y'all hate BYD. That's crazy. But let me know what y'all think about this video, man. If you think Tesla and other EV companies are going to be successful with gigacasting, if it's going to make them more profitable, I'll be interested to see what you guys think. Make sure you guys check the comments for the link to my mastermind community so you can tap in with me. Come tap in with me. All you got to do is come click that link and tap in with your boy in the community. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video.